Zohran Mamdani wasn't born into power. He didn't come from a political dynasty, didn't have $1 billion trust fund, and sure as hell didn't have the media on his side. What he did have: a tiny apartment in Queens, 2 immigrant parents, and a fire in his chest that never went out. He walked the cracked sidewalks of Astoria, hearing people's pain not on the news, but from their front steps, rent to high, jobs to few. Kids going hungry while billionaires bought third yachts. And every time he passed a shiny new skyscraper that nobody could afford to live in, that fire inside him got hotter. He wasn't just angry, he was determined, and then came them. The smug political elites. The billionaire donors who thought they owned the city. The legacy politicians like former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who practically smirked when Mamdani announced he'd run for mayor. He's a socialist, he's dangerous, he doesn't understand how the real world works. That's what they whispered on TV panels, what they sneered in private fundraisers, what they leaked to journalists who gobbled it up. But the real gut punch, the moment that twisted the knife, came during a live interview on Meet the Press. NBC's Kristen Welker looked him dead in the eye and asked, "Do you think billionaires have a right to exist?" You could see the trap, the studio lights, the national stage. One wrong answer, and they'd write his obituary right then and there. But Mamdani didn't blink, his voice calm, his tone controlled, but his words a Molotov cocktail. "I don't think we should have billionaires. It's so much money in a moment of such inequality. What we need is more equality across our city, our state, and our country." Social media exploded. Some called him a communist. Others called him brave. But what Mamdani felt wasn't fear, it was fuel. Because if the billionaires wanted to make him their villain, fine. He'd be the villain they never saw coming. The attacks didn't stop. Cuomo's team flooded the airwaves with smear ads, old photos, twisted quotes, fake polls. One ad even warned that Mamdani's radical agenda would destroy the city. Behind the scenes, real estate moguls and Wall Street donors started funneling millions into super PACs to drown him out. They thought they could buy silence. But they didn't understand who they were. Mamdani stopped trying to win their media war. He focused on people. He knocked on doors himself. Held town halls in laundromats and church basements. Spoke in 5 boroughs, 3 languages, and endless empathy. He told single moms, gig workers, teachers, and cashiers, "I'm not here to sell you hope. I'm here to build it with you." His campaign rejected corporate money, but gained something more powerful: belief, momentum, faith from those who'd long been forgotten. Primary night came like a thunderstorm. Cuomo had the endorsements, the money, the name. But Mamdani had a movement. And as the results poured in, precinct by precinct, it became clear this wasn't just an upset. It was a revolution. He won, by thousands of votes. Against all odds, against all money. The next morning, Zohran Mamdani stood on stage, sweat still clinging to his brow, crowd roaring, eyes shining. He grabbed the mic and said, in the words of Nelson Mandela, "It always seems impossible until it's done. My friends, it is done, and you are the ones who did it." The billionaires who mocked him now had to negotiate with him, work under his policies, watch as the man they tried to bury rewrote the system they thought was theirs forever. His revenge wasn't about rage. It was justice, it was poetic, it was people. Sometimes, revenge isn't loud, it's not explosive. It's quiet, strategic, earned. Sometimes, revenge is getting to build the future they told you would never be yours. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button. And tell us in the comments, what's your favorite story of sweet justice? And if you want more powerful tales of real-life revenge, subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got more stories coming that will leave your heart pounding.